It's a bird. It's a plane.
It's just me. Welcome to another episode of Shipper War, my recap of the 10 seasons of Smallville shipping.
Shipper War. When ship happens, I'm there.
When the series first started back in season 1 in the pilot episode, you can really say there was only possibly 3 couples that you can really say you can ship. Okay, maybe you can say 4 couples. The first one was obviously Clark and Lana. When we first meet them, Clark is watching her from afar as she's, does her pamphlet thing or whatever she was doing. Anyway, so he sees her and he, all confident, he starts walking up to her and then he trips and falls, which he was known to do because of her necklace, which we later find out makes him sick and he can't be around it, so that's why he was never able to really have a relationship with her. He was just basically handicapped whenever he was around her. And then the other relationship was the Clark and Chloe relationship. You got to kind of hint in the beginning that Chloe had a thing for Clark because, Pete makes that comment about how she kind of wants to go to the dance with Clark, and she's like, oh please, she kind of like tries to brush it off. The third relationship you could say that people ship but not, I don't know really, was Lana and Whitney, which were boyfriend and girlfriend at the time. He was the head football player, she was the head cheerleader. They were like the all-American couple, I guess, for high school. And then of course the really odd relationship where actually had a really big following was the Lex and Clark relationship, which over time in season 1 a lot more people started jumping on the bandwagon because there was all these little like kind of hints between them. I guess the writers wrote in just for like giggles, I guess, just to like, I don't know why they did it, but I guess that was like, I guess, the homosexual relationship in Smallville since they never really had one. Around season 2, not only that, but even season 1, 2 other ships started to happen. There were more, low-key, not a lot of people really paid attention to them. And that was the Lex and Lana shippers, and then the Lex and Chloe shippers. Those ships actually did exist. But I would say the Lex and Chloe shippers kind of died out around season 4, but the Lex and Lana shippers just stayed around. And as we later learn, we know they kind of had a point. So now season 3 rolls around. Clark and Lana break up. So one character comes in sometime in season 3, and that's Alicia. She was only around for 1 episode, but she created buzz in the Smallville fandom, even by those who didn't even ship. Those who basically shipped Clark and the Cape. Those who just only watched the series just to see Clark go from being Clark Kent from Smallville to Superman were actually all for Clark and Alicia because they felt that Alicia was, outside from Lana and Chloe, was the one actually related to him the most because she was different and had abilities just like Clark did, in a sense. So this character was in just 1 episode. She ended up going crazy and trying to kill Lana because she was jealous of Lana and Clark's relationship, and she ends up being sent to the loony bin. She's gone. Lana realized nothing's ever going to happen with her and Clark. There's nothing left for her in Smallville. So she ends up leaving at the end of season 3 to Paris. Season 4 rolls around. What happens in season 4 is that Lana comes back from Paris, and she comes back with a boyfriend a lot of girls thought was dreamy. So off the bat, there's people who are fans of him, want to ship him with, of course, Lana. So then we have those who ship Jason and Lana together. And then not only do we get Jason in the mix, we get a new character, or kind of a new character, but a character that's well known, and that's Lois Lane. So we got those who are shippers, but I guess you can say they got fed up with the Lana and Clark, back and forth, or they never cared about Chloe. They end up thinking, hey, this Lois. You know what Lois means? Lois means that this is who Clark's going to end up with. Basically, Lois became that character in the shipping community, which you knew if you shipped her with Clark, you were not wrong for shipping her with Clark, because at the end of the day, these two will end up together. Of course, within Smallville, it was always debatable because nobody expected Smallville to get to the point where Clark and Lois would be endgame. So In season 4, we have that with Clark and Lois. We have the whole thing with Lana and Jason. And then we still have the whole thing with Chloe and Clark still happening. The writers are still teasing the Chloe and Clark shippers. That's the whole Chloe and Clark relationship was basically just one big tease by the writers, and nothing ever happened with them. They just teased them a lot, you know, throwing kisses here, throwing dates there, dances, whatever, but it never really ever happened. So in season 4, they introduced Alicia again after her popularity in season 3. They decided to bring her back and, you know, have Clark actually have a relationship with Alicia. She didn't last very long. I think she lasted for an episode or two. I don't remember. I think it was 2 episodes or 1 episode. Correct me. I don't remember. But she came back. They had a relationship. And she ends up getting killed. Yeah. There's also the Lois and Oliver relationship, where I'm not exactly sure it started in season 6 or 7. But there's the Oliver and Lois relationship, which actually is the first like really serious relationship for Lois Lane. Also in season 6 was a big milestone for Chloe because she finally starts dating someone that's not Clark. She starts dating Jimmy, who she referenced to in season 4 as the guy she lost her virginity to. So they end up having a serious relationship in season 6 into season 7 and even into season 8. So by the end of season 7 into season 8, when it comes to the Clark and Lana relationship, basically Lana ends up disappearing after a big thing with Brainiac. She ends up leaving and not being gone basically most of season 8. She returns back at Chloe and Jimmy's wedding. She appears out of nowhere, and in season 8, kind of a hint between Clark and Lois. Lois starts developing feelings for Clark. She's starting to really like him. Clark is kind of standoffish. He's not sure whether he likes her or not. But then Lana returns and he's completely forgets about Lois. He ends up leaving her on the dance floor and ends up just walking up to Lana. They get in a relationship again. They have super sex. And then Lex comes back into the picture and messes up everything for them again. Again, those two tried so hard to be together, and it seems like everything prevents them from being together. That was basically the end of the Clark and Lana relationship for the series. It was a kind of like a bittersweet ending for the ship because regardless how much they tried to be together, outside forces were always in the way from them truly ever being together. So after Lana leaves, Clark is of course in limbo. But then, of course, he starts taking an interest in Lois. Lois still has the hots for him. Stuff starts developing, but not really. Season 9 rolls around, and that's when stuff really truly starts happening for Clark and Lois. They get in a relationship, stuff happens. Season 10 rolls around, more stuff happens. They're still in a relationship. They get engaged, and now for the season finale of the series, they're going to get married. Now, between all that happened, sometime I believe in season 9, Chloe starts dating Oliver. Yeah, something you wouldn't expect. So she went from Jimmy to Davis, who really wasn't really a relationship, I guess you can't really say, to now she's with Oliver. They start a relationship, and in season 10, they actually elope and get married. So Smallville ends with these 2 ships being the only ships left for the series. A series that started off with not really being the focus of shipping basically became a series about nothing but shipping in the fandom. There's a lot of people who just watch Smallville to ship. I hope I didn't miss any other ships that were really shipped. The only other ships I can think of that I did not mention that I should mention is Martha and Jonathan. I'm not sure people shipped them, but they were a couple for a very long time on the series. There's Pete and Chloe. There's those who I'm not sure really shipped them together, but Pete did have a thing for Chloe. Nothing really ever happened between them two besides a kiss, so I'll mention them. Another ship that was kind of ship but not really was Lana and Pete, because for those who know the Superman comics know that Lana ends up with Pete in the comics, but on the TV series they never ever went there, not even hinted at it. really that I can think of. Another ship I want to mention, which people basically shipped for the shallow reason, and that was Lana and Adam, who was played by Ian Somerhalder. He's gorgeous, so people shipped them together because Ian Somerhalder is gorgeous. My gosh, so gorgeous. Anyways, oh, and then there's Lex and Helen, which was another, I guess, ship that people kind of ship, but not really. It's just one of those ships. I think that's about it. I think I've named them all. If I missed any, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Okay. So, that is that. My final statement, and well, really my final question to all of you is, who did you ship? Out of the 10th season of the series, who was your ship? Who did you ship? You can even say you shipped Clark and the Cape. That's a fine answer. Just tell me on the comments below. That is all for this episode of Shipper War. Goodbye, and until next time.